Yeah. But I got to tell you, I found your comment just then very interesting. You said if members would just go and see these cleanup sites, you know, they would understand it. And as you know, I'm profoundly disappointed in the way you've handled the cleanup at Piketon and the new technology, the uranium enrichment technology that you just pulled the plug on. And in the confirmation hearings where I supported you strongly, I asked you if you would come out and take a look at Piketon. And I've asked you at every one of these hearings. And I think you would have a different perspective if you would come out and see it. And it's not just a huge facility, thousands of acres, but the building alone, where ACP is a $6 billion federal taxpayer initiative that you're pulling the plug on. And I just think it's really disappointing. And I wish I could talk to you today about energy efficiency, and I thank you for supporting the Portman-Shaheen legislation, which is part of the broader Murkowski-Cantwell Energy Policy Modernization Act that we expect to have on the floor next week. And I wish I could talk to you about the exciting new work that Bill Gates is doing with others on this early stage energy innovation fund and you talked about. But I got to talk to you about Piketon. I mean, it is amazing to me that we are pulling the plug on the one American source, the only American-owned source of enriched uranium, which we need for nuclear power, we need for our nuclear navy, we need for tritium, for nuclear arsenal, which you have acknowledged. We have to have it, and we need it for our non-proliferation efforts. We can't go to other countries in the world and say, we're going to provide you enriched uranium because we don't have any source now, thanks to the decision that you just made. And I will tell you, 60 people lost their job this week. Their last day at work is going to be tomorrow. The remaining 140 people are going to work themselves out of a job as they're forced to deconstruct our best technology, the best centrifuge technology that we have, that you have supported. You said it's the best technology. And, you know, they're going to dismantle this stuff and throw it into the desert. I think it's just wrong. And I think it's going to be very expensive for the taxpayers. I mean, you said in your own reports that we're going to need more lowly enriched uranium to produce tritium for our nuclear arsenal within 10 years. And you've also told me, or at least I've heard from other experts, maybe you haven't told me this specifically, you can counter me if you like, that it would take probably 7 years at a minimum to reconstruct what we have there now. You lose the supply chain, you lose the workers, you lose all this expertise. And for those who don't follow this closely, you have to have a lot of centrifuges lined up in order to have a train of centrifuges. That's what we have now at Piketon. We have 120 of them. We're pulling the plug on all those. And as Americans, we should all be concerned about this. And we're going to take down to Oak Ridge, I guess, a couple of centrifuges and do some research. It's a little like saying that we're going to test sort of a single computer chip to see if a laptop will function, because we won't have the ability to test a train anymore. And regardless how you feel about nuclear energy, we need to have this capability. It's part of our national security. So I would just ask you today, you know, you said you can find various sources of enriched uranium out there and sort of pull them together, stockpiles that are out there to be able to keep things going for the next 10 years. And then you said you've identified some options that could extend that timeline. You said they carry significant costs and risks associated with them. Let's say that you can't find those other sources after the first 10 years. Then you would have to reconstruct a centrifuge capability in the United States of America, not relying on the Russians and others. How long would it take to rebuild that capability?
Well, thank you, Senator. Obviously, we do have a disagreement here, but let me say a few things, if I may. Number one, because I have been to the site and I've seen the building.
When were you at the site?
No, that was I was twice during the Clinton years. I have not
during the Clinton years. Yeah, and I've asked you to go during these years to see what we're doing there now. I'm talking about the ACP project. That was not the ACP project. It was not there then.
But no, but the building was there, and there were centrifuges.
But not the ACP project. The ACP project we just got back in the 2000s.
Well, there were ACP.
Yeah, but what I want you to see is what's going on. I want you to talk to the 200 works and to see what we're doing.
I would be happy to talk about
and to see the cleanup, which we're going to talk about in a second.
I'd be happy to do that.
Well, you've said that before. Let's.
No, I have not said that before. But
yes, you have.
All due
you said you'd be happy to do that, and you haven't come out.
We can work on a schedule.
Well, that's great.
Okay.
I would love to do that.
Do that. Secondly, Again, we are not pulling the plug on the technology. The third, we absolutely still need a national security-based capability. Sometime probably in the next 20 years or so. If we had several $billion, now we could start building the national security train. The current machines, as we've discussed before, will not be part of that. It's not like they are the beginning of it. They are not part of it. And the problem right now is that we have passed the useful life of that cluster. But we do need a national security train. And right now, I've said it before, today certainly the only American technology that we have is the ACP.
Is that project? Well, let's talk for a second about the cleanup. As you know, in 2008, President Obama made all kinds of commitments that he was going to clean it up. You yourself have made commitments. DOE in 2009 said they're going to accelerate the cleanup to complete the work by 2024. This is for the old technology, for those who don't have to follow this as closely as some of us do. I mean, the old technology is gone. It's just a matter of cleaning it up. And the cleanup is incredibly important for the community, for the environmental impact, also for reindustrialization of the site. 2024. So the latest is, because of the lack of funding from the administration, which we have to fight for every year to put back in the appropriations process because you underfund it every year, 2044. So let me just ask you this quickly, because my time is is expiring, and I apologize to my colleagues, but this is important to me. We almost had 500 workers at the site laid off just before Christmas last year. We came in at the last minute, members of this committee and others, and saved them. This year, you put in your budget, okay, we're going to put more funding in for the cleanup to try to, at least keep the people that are there. Not to meet the commitment you said before, but at least keep people who are there. But you're using funds from this old USEC corporation that you told us before are not available. And more than half of the cleanup you're proposing, the new funding is going to come from this. Tell us why you think that funding is currently available, where is the authority for it, and where's the offset for it, since it's mandatory spending?
Well, first of all, I don't believe I said it was unavailable. Quite the contrary. We have three funds totaling almost $5 billion, which can be used for this.
The department's request from 2009 to 2015 have characterized the fund as, quote, unavailable, period.
That was a decision taken. It's not like it's unavailable by statute or anything. It's mandatory funding. And we proposed an offset, a direct offset, which would be returning to the $0.25 per kilowatt hour from the users of the facility. This is the way it was when that fee was discontinued, and it was a higher fee. When it was discontinued, the full cost of the D&D at the three sites was not understood. We now say it's probably like $22 billion. We now understand that. And so the current authorization is that the users pay for it. So it's about a $0.25 per kilowatt hour would cover the offset for using the USEC fund, which is an existing authorized fund which has been sitting there. And frankly, back in 2000, there was an explicit action taken in the Congress. Frankly, Senator McConnell led that for explicitly recognizing the utility of the USEC fund to address D&D costs. So,
Mr. Secretary, I'm going to ask you to
Madam
wrap.
Chair, I apologize to my colleagues. If you could, Mr. Secretary, please give us in writing what the authorization is, why you think it's now available, even though previously you said it wasn't, and then also the offsets in more detail.